Hello everybody and welcome to another one of my War Leader PvMP videos. Today I'm going to be talking about how I raid. Specifically I want to focus on UI elements and also talking about some specific things that I'm always trying to do and be aware of as a good raid member. So we will try to jump right in. I might possibly talk a little bit about stuff that I do that's specific to leading as we go through, and at some point it's probably going to devolve into a musical montage, but in the meantime we'll see how much I can get through while still actually being informative and productive. Okay, so first off, this is me leading a raid. We are going up against 2+ enemy free raids, do not have a full raid, and the whole situation is really, it's quite a mess. So what I'm doing at this point is I'm trying to maintain the order within my raid despite the overwhelming odds facing us. So I'm making sure that I keep talking, keep giving out orders, make the orders clear, keep doing the target assist so that people know what they're supposed to be attacking. On the user interface side though, what you can see is that I've got all 4 raid groups displayed and they don't overlap each other, and all of them are in positions where I can click on them. Even the second group from the left is sticking just far enough out of the chat window that I can click on the health bars there and be able to select them. This is important because I do play a healing class so that I can actually click on anyone I want to and be able to throw heals at them. It also lets me right click on them to do things like transfer leadership, make them a raid assist, and make them a raid assist target. Throw bubbles now that the bubbles are no longer restricted by grouping, things like that. So being able to actually easily target everyone is important as a healing class. It's also good as a raid leader if you're in that habit. However, my setup does take up quite a bit of screen real estate, so one thing that I've trained myself to do is I can see straight through the health bars and everything else when I'm looking for creeps and stuff, even if I can't click through there. So I use tab targeting a lot to make up for the fact that I can't mouse click very easily. Which is actually pretty useful because when you get into a big fight, the lag typically makes mouse targeting worthless as far as I'm concerned. So tab targeting to find people for the most part, also backspace, which is nearest enemy, get right on top of them, hit backspace, you usually have got them, and that's important for target assisting. Now I know a lot of people will turn off other groups and stuff. I say that's really a bad idea. With the entire setup like this, I can read everyone's names, I can see the lights light up when people start talking in voice chat so I can identify who's talking. The other thing is I can easily assess how the raid is doing, what are the power levels at, what are the health levels at, how many people are dead, which is all important information for trying to decide whether or not the fight can be carried on or not. As a group member, typically what I like to do is, especially if we've got a lot of surplus healing, is I will enter a fight and first I'll throw down buff banners, throw down debuff banners, throw out my burst, and then I'll see what needs to be done. Do we need to start picking up on healing? I'm going to go over pick up on the healing if I can. Am I taking too much fire to do that? Okay, I'll just keep trying to tank. I'll see if I need to strafe kite back towards my own lines, see if I can keep doing damage, things like that. And then I'm just looking for targets of opportunity to be able to inflict some damage, which mostly is runekeepers at this point because they're squishy, but they hit hard, so high priority. The other important thing is I always try to follow the leader's instructions. I may not always be exactly on the target that they're on, but when I'm not, it's typically because I'm going after a target of opportunity, trying to interrupt the healer, trying to interrupt the lore master, or I'm doing my own healing and stuff. But in general, you want to be doing what your leader says to do, especially if you're not very experienced with raiding and such. Then by all means, do what your leader says to do and try not to deviate from that at all. Even if it gets you killed, you'll learn a lot more from it. For target assisting, I have 2 methods that I will follow when doing target assists. Method 1 is the very standard, go for their healers and kill them. Method number 2, which is one that I like to use when I can, is to go for their squishy DPS. This typically means hunters and runekeepers and champions sometimes. So champions have gotten a little less squishy in Isengard, but depending on how they're built, they can still be pretty squishy. Lore masters are also pretty good just because they got so much AoE and all kinds of extra utilities and stuff. But the idea there is just eviscerate the raid's ability to actually drop targets and swing the entire thing into our favor so we can manage to keep our people alive, keep our momentum going, and then hammer them. This works really well if you've got some DPSers, especially wargs and reavers, who are just independent and coordinated enough that they can shut down healers, particularly minstrels and the runekeepers. Captains can't really be shut down very easily, but they're not very good at handling the amounts of damage that's going to get thrown out by the raid. So if you've got a reaver or a warg for every single one of their healers, if they've only got a handful of them, then basically their healing is shut down. They can't reliably keep anybody up. Cut out the DPS, they're not going to get any kills, and then mop up the rest of them, and things work really nice. This works a lot better in small group fights, which is where I've used it a lot more than anywhere else, but it still is fantastic if you can get it to actually work in a raid situation. Alright, well that's about all I've got to say right now, so I think it's musical montage time. Good luck and have fun out there. Ugmog is out.
Now we got gigs brought back in the main.